Hey guys, welcome back to the Tough Love Podcast with Dr. John O'Connor. Today's guest, Jess Turato, was somebody that I caught on Instagram and met her at the gym that I lived at, Lifetime of Middletown. And I thought, especially with the terrible weather we have, this would be a daily dose of sunshine because Jess is a ball of smiles. And so anyway, Jess, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
The one thing, I love interviewing my guests prior, and I laughed. I'm like, do you really wake up this way? And you're like, this is you 24/7.
Yeah. I mean, people are like, I always tell my husband like, oh gosh, you're so lucky. But I mean, there's a certain amount of sunshine every man can take.
That's it. You're like, you're that person. Can you have a bad day?
Yeah, I've had roommates that are like, all right, we need to like take it down. Like we can't do this all the time.
The neat thing was I for sure thought you were a career fitness head, but it was something that started during COVID, yeah?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Tell the audience a little bit about that.
Sure. So prior to COVID, I had always kind of exercised kind of like, unfortunately, a lot of other women. I tried to have a certain body type, which now that I look back is like ridiculous. I never would have had that. You know, I grew up in the era of like super skinny, big boobs. Prior to COVID, I guess I was always thinking that I needed to look a certain way. And then when you take away the social element of exercise, you know, we were all at home, we were all doing our own thing. I kind of realized that I wasn't feeling motivated anymore. And I started to realize it was because I was motivated for the wrong reasons. You know, I was trying to look a certain way. And being home and exercising on my own, I realized how wonderful it was to feel strong and to be strong, and it changed my outlook on everything. And now on my Instagram and in person when I teach, that is really my mission. I want to teach women, make it less about aesthetics and more about lifestyle and feeling great and feeling strong in your own body, because that's what's going to make you love your body. It's not looking a certain way. So once I found that motivation, I was really motivated to become a trainer. And then I had started taking online classes all the time and watching the instructors on the online classes. I'm like, dude, can you like give me a little more spunk? Like, can you like a little more something?
So I'm laughing.
Like,
so
I could do that. You know? Yeah. So by the time COVID was wrapping up, I was already getting my group fitness instructor certification, and it became my career, which is awesome.
I love that. And I would say if movement was medicine for you, but you would be kind of overdosed on the happy pills. But you come from a dance background, so I think that's a lot of your animation, and that you were doing like, I guess, tap, like jazz, pop.
Yes, I was doing like
hip hop.
So if you saw me on a dance floor now, it would probably be unrecognizable, but it's because I did like tap and ballet, and you know, those things don't really translate when you're like at a wedding, unfortunately. But yes, I did have I had 18 years of dance growing up. And I think you said your wife is also in the dance, is a professional dancer.
NFL cheerleader.
NFL cheerleader.
Yeah.
So yeah, it helps because you are so trained to be on, you know, like whenever you're on that little stage, it's like you're always on. So I think that's been helpful because to be a good trainer, you obviously have to be consistent with, in a way, it's a performance. You got to put on a show a little bit. You can be authentic, but you also have to be consistent. You can't change depending on what's happening in your day. So I think that was helpful for sure.
So for the people that are going to be watching this live on YouTube or our broadcast, where you can see her, you obviously see how fit she is. But one thing you may not know is that you run, and you run a lot.
Yes.
But the why kind of then syncs with the story behind Tough Love. That started because of some adversity in your life. Could you please share that?
Yes, of course. So I never ran. I absolutely hated it. And I come from a family of police officers. My dad and my uncle are both police officers. And my uncle passed away. He was killed in the line of duty. He was shot. And it was obviously a horrible experience. It was about 10 years ago. He was a police officer in Massachusetts. And the weekend of his funeral, they have this wonderful race called Run to Remember. It's a half marathon. And it was the day after his funeral. And I just remember thinking, okay, next year I'm going to run that. And I don't know, sometimes grief takes crazy paths, and that's the form my grief took. I just decided to run a half marathon, and I trained for that for the year. And then my two best friends from second grade, who had also never run before, they called me up and they said they wanted to do it with me, and so we all ran that race together. And now we've run 10 marathons and half marathons all over the world, actually. We've done Paris, we've done Utah, we've done California, and it's become a beautiful thing. And for me, exercise and running, I cannot tell you what it did for me during that time.
Awesome. So takes me to the next question. What would you say it does for your soul?
In that sense, it was my only therapy, and honestly, it was the only therapy that I needed. I talked to my uncle while I was running. I still do every single time I run. I pray for my family. It's just a chance for me to have a little alone time and to clear your thoughts and to clear your mind. I honestly don't know what I would have done without it.
I love that. And you know, it's funny. I've been blessed in my clinical career to have worked on a lot of world-class runners from Kenya, from Morocco, South Africa. And the amazing thing was the mental part of it. when you talk about, there's one thing to sprint 100 yards, 400 yards, there's a whole other thing to run 13.2 or whatever, 13.1 or 26.2. What and how has that changed you?
I was able to access a different part of me so of course I was running first for really therapy and for myself and to help me get through that hard time. But then it becomes the questions that you asked me like before. You ask questions like a runner would ask because you understand mental toughness. But the people that you've treated.
I've treated some really elite sub 4-minute milers and some craziness over the years. Hearing them speak, it is definitely very spiritual and they're in their own heads and it's like them versus them.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
And they're running against the elements, they're running against their body. The road and them are one.
Yes, absolutely. The questions are so on point. It made me feel like maybe you've done it yourself because it is true. Which I'm sure in other elements
I would
of
only
sports,
run at this point if I was being chased.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a mental toughness thing. And I grew to realize that I kind of love that. And, you're a little bit sick. But it works. It works. And that's definitely translated into strength training and definitely core exercise and all that stuff.
The core of it all, right?
Yeah.
So next thing I was going to take you right into is you're known for being like a core beast with regards to your fitness training and obviously your appearance. What's your philosophy behind building a strong core, both physically and mentally?
It ties in so well with running because they both are terrible, right? They're running is really hard, mentally tough. And I think core is kind of the same way. Like you really need mental toughness to push yourself. That's why nobody wants to do core on their own. It stinks. But those are the things that I'm drawn to for whatever reason. So pushing myself in running also translated into pushing myself in core exercise, and it just became something that I loved to try to challenge. It was a great personal challenge for me. And then when I became an instructor, I've come up with classes that are so much harder than the other classes that are around, and thankfully I've been able to find a great group of people who are willing to do that with me.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, embrace the suck. Exactly.
I hear you.
Yeah, we all embrace it.
Quick question. Was there ever an injury, a hip injury, a back injury? I know dance, that's something where you guys either have a ton of foot issues or back issues. Mm-hmm. Was there anything that inspired you to strengthen core and take that that Pilates dance background or whatnot and bring that in, or it just really came during COVID and fitness? Any injuries along the way, or you've been pretty blessed with being healthy?
I've actually had lower back stuff earlier on in my days and definitely the core exercise. But I'm going to be perfectly frank, when I became a group fitness instructor and I started to, this is another big change from, working out in the gym solo to becoming a group fitness instructor. You work so many other elements of your body that you wouldn't normally in the gym. Usually when you go to the gym floor, you've got a certain number of things that you do, at least that I did. I was doing it wrong maybe. And I felt like it became much more well-rounded, strong when I became a group fitness instructor because I'm doing all sorts of things. And that actually helped heal my lower back because my lower back became so much stronger when I became a group fitness instructor.
So, especially your two girlfriends that you've known since second grade.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you radiate energy, your smile, your look. I don't think you haven't taken the smile off yet. So I don't know whether to throw you into a white teeth commercial or, to do the fitness model. How would you say fitness and the way you generate this positivity helps you kind of shake off curveballs that are thrown at you? Difficulty, tough times.
Well, like we've talked about, and I'm sure because your whole life has been fitness too. It's such a mental thing as well as much it is a physical thing. So it's a way to clear your head and it's a way to do things. Like we talked about, I kind of just wake up bubbly and I wake up happy, but I also am so blessed to have the job that I have and to be able to go in. And honestly, I feel it's my job to make other people's day. 36 people that come to my class every morning at 7 a.m. And my job is to make their 45 minutes with me a positive, great experience. I want them to push themselves, but I also want them to know that they are cared about and, that we're a community. That sounds so cheesy, but it's true. But focusing on other people, I think is the best way for you to get out of your own head and kind of make you have a great day. Like when you try to make someone else have a great day, you have a great day. And it's an energy exchange. And
you have to give to get.
Yes, absolutely. And I am very fortunate where I have a job where I get to give a lot, but I get so much back. So I feel very grateful.
It's funny, when you give in abundance, you never want for anything. And I always tell people, and it's the role of community. So you feel, and I love that, right? Like at no point did it feel like you were talking about your job. It was as if it's a gift that you get to work with people and then you get compensated for it. And that's what I was telling you. And definitely, like I said, Mike, if you're listening from AR ClickFunnels, you owe me that this one's going to be a dynamo. The reality is that you can definitely utilize artificial intelligence, social media, and the platform because unfortunately, I would say that you are an outlier. Like you're the special one in that most people struggle with finding their why and their happiness. Again, you're your daily dose of sunshine. So I think that I'm going to help you name your page because I think that you shouldn't go away from that.
I'm liking it.
So that's it. So do you feel like dance still lives with you in training as far as what you bring in rhythm, flow, and the expression in your workouts? Or at this point, you've just become the core beast and it's a whole different animal?
I definitely think it's more the core. Where's that dance girl? She's gone. I do that purposefully. I've stepped away from the dancing and I've stepped away from, rhythmic strength training because I actually have a lot of guys in my classes. I think I've got more men. And it's hard enough for a man to
Dave
walk
would be
into.
traumatized.
Yeah.
It's bad enough you got to tell him to keep his Skittles away.
I'm already going to traumatize them, so we're trying to limit the trauma. The workout's going to be hard enough. But, honestly, I don't want to discourage men from coming to my classes. I love the energy from everybody feeling comfortable. And, doing bicep curls to music. I don't know. That's not.
You might lose. Yeah.
I might lose.
You might at that bro moment might be like, so.
We try to keep it.
I will say it's funny in 1980s group exercise class, whenever we wore the little tiny shorts, you might have had a whole room full of them, but I don't know if you could pull it off now in 2025. One of the neat things that was funny was I was sitting out by the pool, and I think Dave Scott does one of your classes. I was laughing because he was describing it, and I was sitting with another friend, and him and I are looking at each other, and I pride myself on how hard I work my core, and I was like, I'm gonna reach out to her and go one-on-one because I don't want to get embarrassed in her class. Because how long are you doing those movements for? Like 5 minutes on one movement? I'm like, I looked at him. And I'm like, and Harold and I laughed. We both said the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I would catch a spasm. Last thing I want to do is look like the way I look in the middle of summer and be like, oh, I'm done. I'm out. Someone went out.
No.
It's not a good look.
You do not have to worry. Every time someone comes to my class for the first time, I just tell them, I'm like, when you feel like you're failing, just look around the room. It looks like there was some sort of horrible accident. People are just laying there. But if you work your way up to a half hour is a long time to do straight core. So you work your way up. By the way, David takes a lot of breaks. I just want to make that very clear.
He left that part out by the pool. I actually thought he was a killer. I was like, all right, he's probably eating the Haagen-Dazs in between sets.
But he takes breaks.
Too funny. You know what? It's amazing how fast these go when you're having a great time. What would be a statement or a quote that blink and all of a sudden it's 20 years from now and you're not teaching anymore? But I don't think you would stop because you still be young. Let's just say it's towards the tail end of your career, young-ish. I'm like, trust me, I don't tell you, I'm like, I'm 30 plus 20 or something, ish. So, but what would you tell people that would be like a quote if you wanted to see it, you saw your picture somewhere? What would you want it to say about you? How you made people feel, the energy, the sunshine effect, the whole thing.
I would definitely want people to feel like I cared about them. I want everybody to know that I care about them because I do. I really do care about them. I want the strength training and all of that. I want that for them. I hope that they would feel that. I want their growth. I want to be part of their goals. I want to be part of their lives to an extent. I treasure that time that I get to be part of their lives, and I want them to know that, I hope that everybody knows that even if I, don't get to talk to you every single time, I hope you feel.
I love that. And I'm going to close on this question. So the sunshine effect. Your energy is obviously contagious. I'm smiling the whole time, and I'm not really a smiler. But if somebody's listening and they're in a dark place right now, what's one piece of advice or a daily ritual that you'd share to help them find a little sunshine?
I think that being passionate, every single person has something that they can offer the world to make other people happy. A lot of times where people go wrong is they don't focus on trying to make other people happy. And it sounds like a selfless thing, but it's not entirely because you help people all the time. Yeah. There's so much joy that comes from helping people. So I think finding that passion, and it doesn't necessarily need to be in your job or anything like that, but finding that thing that you can give to the world to make it a better place. And then also just being grateful for every little thing. If you start with the small things, it accumulates and you kind of can change your mindset into one of kind of finding all the things that are wrong to finding all the things that are beautiful and right.
It's funny. I had a business coach, and it feels like a lifetime ago, that said, if you can appreciate the small things, the big things will feel like magic.
Exactly. I like that, coach.
And I didn't appreciate it then as much because I was grinding so much. But when I look back and I realized the importance of being able to slow down and be present, and that's what I learned during COVID, that appreciation really kind of resonates, and it's something that's lasting. Guys, by the way, I don't know. I love this. It's not typical. These podcast guests today have been one ball of energy after the next of just super positivity. So I may go and jog my way home. Probably not. Just thinking about it, but probably not going to happen. So
I'll go with you.
Maybe I'll jog to my TRX. But all kidding aside, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And
honestly.
Guys, just absolutely just an amazing, amazing person, super bubbly, super fit, and we are going to have an ab off. I have another week I have to rest, and then we're going to give me a week to get back in, and I'm going to have her put me through the ringer and see how I do.
You're going to do great. You got it. You'll show me some things.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Jess, thank you.
Thank you for
Please come
having me.
again, and God bless, and we'll see you guys again soon. Take care.